Pro tips regarding caching your Axiom simulations. I have a pre and post render script. I'll copy them, and a big shout out to my good friend CG Dingo. I will link his YouTube channel in the description. He has a few good Houdini tutorials as well. He helped me with this Python code. I will show you how to do a simpler version as well, but if you want to use this one will actually take the name of your Axiom simulation as well, and the one I'll show you how to do, you will have to rename it customly each time. So let me show you what it does. So we have our Axiom. It's currently disabled. We're gonna start caching, and you will see when we start, we're gonna get a little bump, and then it's gonna stop, and it's gonna deactivate your sim and flush the RAM. So that's great. And I do this, I have it as a preset. So this one, and I just use it all the time for any Axiom caching. So if you want to do this on your own, I can show you a poor man's version of this. Let's go to the Python shell. You can see I was already testing it before. Let's bring in our Axiom. All we have to do is drag this here and say dot set 1. So we're going to be setting this to 1, copy it, go advanced scripts, bam, Python. So this will essentially activate our Axiom sim even if it's disabled. Post render, same thing, but set it to 0. So when it's done, we want it to set to 0. So that alone should work. Put this to 20. You can see it's going to enable it. It's going to do the sim. It's going to disable it. It did not disable it for some reason. Let's see why. Python. Now it should disable it. There we go. But you still need to hover over it in order for the VRAM to be flushed. So we can do another simple Python thing, reset button. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it here, and you say press button, like so. Copy this, go to the end here, let's do a comma and paste it. So now you should see the same thing happen. Cache it, it's a bump, and it flushes the RAM because it's gonna reset it. That's great. That's exactly what we wanted. So that's the poor man version of doing this. Keep in mind that this will only work if you let the simulation run till the end. So if you run it and you decide to interrupt it, it won't flush the RAM. You will still need to hover over it. It needs to finish in order for the post script to activate. So if you're wondering why it doesn't work when you interrupt, it's just not going to flush the RAM. You have to hover over it and then it's going to flush it. That's just a caveat. Another pro tip, when you are exporting your previews, I'm using this info SOP from Paul Villa. I will also link it in the description. It's very cool, super handy. So let's put in camera. Second one. This too. Let's see. There we go. So it's going to give you some text here. You can type in whatever you want. You can arrange the text in the center. It's going to give you some info. You can put any info you want here, and it's going to cache it out with your preview. I usually don't want any text. I just want a quick preview happening. So this will use the OpenGL. And then you go to Flipbox, you select your camera, you name your preview, and you're off to the races. Now, the only thing that you do need to change to get a proper preview like we're having here, put this to open color. and go to your OCO color space, and you have to find sRGB. Here, you click on that, and that will give you a proper, oops, I flipped it. A proper preview, it's gonna look something like this when you actually preview it. So this, I was only previewing the 60 frames, but you can see this is pretty much what we're getting in the viewport.